1993. The World Wide Web had just launched.
Bill Clinton will be the new President of the United States.
The reformed rabbi, Bill Clinton, was sworn into office.
Like this, then I can't.
Now back to Europe, where another country seems set to split up.
Czechoslovakia had now split into two new countries, the Czech Republic and the Slovak Republic.
Have decided to go their separate ways.
One of the world's most wanted men.
Pablo Escobar was caught by the US government.
Murder and terrorism.
Id Software released Doom.
That's what it's supposed to look like. And with an eye to the future, tomorrow begins today. Nintendo, the world's leader in video games, has joined forces with Silicon Graphics, the world's leader in
Nintendo and Silicon Graphics shook hands to create a game console that would revolutionize the gaming industry as a whole. Project Reality came into fruition after some trial and error. It would then be renamed into the Ultra 64.
Available for your home in 1995, only on Nintendo Ultra 64.
Named after its 64-bit CPU, which helped shape the polygons into the characters we loved, but in 3D. One delay later, and a final name change, we got
the Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64. Change the system.
June 23rd, 1996. It was released to audiences in Japan first, with sales reaching 5 million. It wasn't until September 29th, 1996 the console was released in America. 20 million units sold, with the EU and Australia finally releasing the following year on March 1st, 1997 with just shy under 7 million units sold. It was a success outside of Japan, yet was seen as a commercial failure. However, it would go on to be one of the greatest consoles ever. Serious ass intro aside, this shit was peak at the time, Bandai. You had games like Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Conker's Bad Fur Day, GoldenEye, Zelda, Perfect Dark, Snowboard Kids, Harvest Moon, Turok, Smash Bros, Kirby, and a metric fuck ton to list here. You weren't bored if you had a Nintendo 64, let me tell you. As time went on though, game graphics began to get more and more realistic.
Where did the triangle go?
Gone are the days of the low polygon aesthetic, and now came things like ray tracing and upscaling. Things were smoother and less pointy, and all that other fancy stuff fresas with cream over. It seemed like the aesthetic was just a memory on the wall. Or so you'd think, if you didn't know a thing or two about influential nostalgic marketing. Hit it. So in case you didn't know, indie developers who grew up with the N64 probably loved it just as much as I did, so they made their own catalog of games that played similar to the ones that I just mentioned. Not only that, they looked the part too. These are the ones that I will speak on briefly and give a bit of a rundown on each one, and hey, who knows, you might find something you like. This is Super Steam 64. Cabrones. Damn, Tony, you can't Photoshop worth a goddamn. Our first game here is Knight's Try. From the get-go, this shit was inspired by Super Mario 64, down to some of the designs and platforming. But what if you slapped on some Dank Souls aesthetic and difficulty? Well, you get Knight's Try. What do I like about the game? The look and how unique it is within its giant continuous level design. Some of the parts I had to stop and really appreciate what the game was trying to show me, and most times I really did feel like I was playing some sort of hidden Mario 64 level. It's marvelous. The textures are amazing, the colors are vibrant, everything you would want in a Nintendo 64 game. What do I not like about it? This game is bullshit, and the person who made it clearly wanted you to know that because you will die a lot. And although there was a level of satisfaction getting from one point to another, there were moments where I looked at something, said fuck that, and wanted to leave a bad review out of rage. Okay, I got it, just gotta make that jump right. Okay, la chingada. Okay, so we're gonna jump on this thing right here. Gonna moves hella fast. Okay. Get on that. Okay, no, fine. Next one. Gotta time it. Right there. Ay, Dios mío. Okay, they got me dodging boulders like I'm dodging La Migra. Wait, this is bringing back memories. Ooh, you thought, Mr. Officer. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, we're dodging, we're dodging, we're dodging. Alrighty, I see you, Mr. Walker, Texas Ranger. All right, you're not gonna get this. You're gonna Wait, no. Okay, let him through. It's all good. We got it. Okay, Okay, no. Esperen, no. Cárgame a la puta chingada. And I have to start all over again. Okay, guys, I made it to the border of El Paso. So far, this is that southern hospitality that they were telling me about. It seems like I'm very welcomed here. No pinches mames, wait, how the fuck? Okay, try 33. I'm feeling lucky about this one, banda. Okay, we're just gonna jump right there. All right, they missed. Okay, or I dodged that. It don't matter. We're gonna keep chugging along. And cabrón, no, pues que pendejos. They can't aim for shit. You know, we in the industry call this a skill issue. But I didn't because maybe that's what the dev wanted or not, no clue, I don't know, I don't care, I digress. Is this game worth buying, checking out? Depends. Do you hate your life right now? Want to hate it more? This game might just be for you then. Next up on the list we have Kidz 64. One thing I failed to mention was that most Nintendo 64 games had the number 64 at the end of said title. Why? To show that you can only play it on Nintendo 64. GG, I just wasted seconds of your time explaining that. Kidz 64 on the other hand won't waste your time. Look, if this game looked like tacos, it'd look like these. Matter of fact, shotgun review. Tortilla, great level design and amazing movement with easy to understand controls that don't feel janky and a camera that will betray you sometimes just like a real Nintendo 64 game. Peak, carne, call the story birria though it's fucking goated. You play as a goat kid named Steve who's stuck in a dream realm looking for nachos while your friend Alexis japs about corn powers. Dialogue is funny and has some edge. The story itself is one fun ride and shows how far someone will go for nachos. No te culpo cabrón, yo también. Toppings, just please and then some. Lot of things to do, lot of things to collect, lot of things to keep your ass busy. Visuals are nice and really capture that N64 era type aesthetic. Este juego looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, even the art style outside of the game captures that vibe too. Salsa, memorable and playlistable, and holy shit, why is it so good? All this for like $6, which is like 3 tacos at my local taco truck. Pre-tax, of course. Anyways, I recommend it. If you liked any games Rare made back in the day and just fun little 3D platformers as a kid, then this game will scratch that itch that'll make you wish you lived or went back to the times where you still went to Blockbuster just to rent this thing with some VHS tapes. The term backrooms was that small corner with a curtain your dad probably went into while you were busy looking at the Disney section. Your ass maybe wanted a can of Surge or Butterfinger BBs. In my case, it was a payaso popsicle. And MTV was actually playing music. So as far as McBT 64 goes, well, it feels like I'm playing a college project. Is that a bad thing? No, not really, but you could tell this game was trying to pay homage to games such as Banjo-Kazooie and DK64. However, with McBT's case, the best way I can describe it is that it feels like a parody game that you would see in a TV show or a movie. You know, the ones where the studio probably couldn't get the rights to a mainstream game for like 13 seconds, so they had to make a fake inverse game for the sake of it and probably had some unpaid intern make footage for it just to show off for like one scene and then never be heard from again until years later down the line someone on Reddit would make a thread asking, hey, what was that game so-and-so was playing in show or movie? Yeah, that's McBT. Chale, some may even call it shovelware. Miren, banda, it's a cute little project and I could see what they were trying to do, so I really can't be mad at it. I mean, I played the damn thing through and through and I still enjoyed my time with it. Could some areas have been better? Yeah, sure, but it's not all bad. Hey, if you got an hour to kill, then this game is for you. Also, credit where credit is due, they got El Gallo himself, Grant Pinche Kirkhope, to voice in this game.
Marvellous here, isn't it? Tell you what, you have no chance of finding a sunnier place than this.
For any of you uncultured swines out there who have no idea as to who this guy is, he basically composed some of the most memorable games on the Nintendo 64 and is the voice of the big man himself, Donkey Kong.
Yeah? I go bananas for that pussy.
Suffice to say, I don't know how they convinced Kirk Hope to join and voice this game, but it earned my respect. Okay, so the creator of McBT 64 basically took a good look at it and said, no, pues wow, this looks like the type of game some dumb Mexican would likely grail us wearing a video showcasing other indie games from that Nintendo 64 era. What could we do? Thus, Super Kiwi 64 was made. I am of course just joking, I have never met Siactro. Yo, Siactro, if you're watching this, send me a Kiwi plushie. I digress. Super Kiwi 64 was taking what McBT was trying to do, but slap on a budget and you get a game that is heaps better, complete with voice acting and all.
Aight, I keep working on the engine. You get out there and find us those ancient energy cells so we got something to power the plane with.
It's a fun game actually, with really good platforming sections and a massive emphasis on collecting stuff, making it a really nostalgic collectathon type game.
What's up?
What's up?
Each level feels unique from one another and is completely different in its own right. Last level is really fun and reminds me a little bit of the final level from Super Mario 64 and Final Destination from Smash, but combined. Also, look who makes a return. El mero mero chingon himself, McBT. Who just so happens to help you take down King Melon a second time because the first time wasn't enough in McBT's game. Anyways, I wholeheartedly recommend this one. Frogun is a cute little game made by Mol Gato about a girl named Renata who searches for her parents in an isometric landscape, reminiscent of something like Super Mario 3D Land, pero con un poquito de chameleon twist in it. Nintendo re-release it, cabrones. Despite that though, this game was nostalgic in that I remembered playing this when I was 10 years old type of way. What am I doing playing a kid's game, do you wonder? I don't know, what are you doing watching this video unliked and unsubscribed? Checkmate, liberal. Despite that though, the level design is rather nice and really captured the magic of that era. Each environment has their own theme to it. You get darker levels, the snow levels, the lava levels, a boss fight at the end of those sections, which to my surprise were not as simple as they looked. It's got the whole 9 yards and then some. No level felt the same too, and the music was rather decent. The art style is very childlike and something you'd see in a picture book. Do I have something bad to say about this game? I mean, not really, other than the fact that it was more on the kiddie side of things, pero miren banda, I had fun. This game was fun. If you want to hark on me for it, then feel free to tell me in person at this address. While you're at it, put the fries in the bag too. Anyways, if you want something more laid back, or hey, if you have kids, this game might just be up your alley. Valky 64 is what you get when you say, Mom, can we have Ocarina of Time? We have Ocarina of Time at home. The double OT in question. See, Ocarina of Time is basically Mountain Dew Baja Blast, the flavor everybody wants for Mountain Dew. Valky 64 is Mountain Lightning with blue Jolly Ranchers in it to look like you're drinking Baja Blast, but it just ain't the same. Let me explain. Combat was repetitive, so I got a little stale pretty quick cause all you're doing is swinging a sword, occasionally dodging, and maybe a parry. Plus, enemies tend to have the same or similar attack patterns too. Shit's so basic it goes to Starbucks and wears sweatpants that say juicy on the back. The boss fights are lukewarm at best, some were cool, some were meh, and some of the areas don't really feel done. Like they needed some more time in the oven, and the plot is okay at best. As far as all the side stuff, won't lie, not bad to some extent. When this game does its own thing, it does it correctly. Some of the dungeons were fun to do in their own right, the little hub area where you start at the game is rather stylish, and the game does exploration well. One of my favorite areas actually pays homage to the Kokiri Forest, y honestamente, it looks awesome. What I'm saying is, it looks the part. However, if you're expecting an experience like OOT, but with an indie dev that you can tell did their best to try and replicate the magic that was Ocarina of Time, well, I hate to actually sound harsh, but you're better off just playing the original OOT. It's on 3DS, you can find a copy somewhere on eBay, maybe you still got a Nintendo 64 console. If you want to go the extra mile and give Nintendo your hard-earned cash just to play it on Switch by paying for their subscription service, you could, or you could always.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar har fiddle-dee-dee. Being a pirate is a right-to-be. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You are a pirate. We got us a map.
Despite that though, as odd as it sounds, I kinda liked it. I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like a game you picked up as a kid and you didn't realize wasn't great until you got older, but it still holds a small place in your heart. Side note, that game for me was Shadow the Hedgehog on PlayStation 2.
A Chaos Emerald? You've got to be kidding me, guys. This is like taking candy from a baby, which is fine by me.
And those are the games I wanted to showcase. Ojalá you found something that caught your eye, and again, all of these games are available on Steam after all. That being said, sorry this took so long to make you guys, but glad you stuck around and found out what I've been cooking as of lately. This was a rather fun and laborious video to make, but I wanted to make a point with this vid. And what is that point? That the Nintendo 64 era really was unique for the time it came out. I mean, gaming as a whole was starting to enter a time period where it was no longer going to be called the gaming circle, but the gaming sphere. See what I did there? Cause 3D, Nintendo 64, you know, the 2-bit to 3D graphics, haha, laugh, I'm funny. Cringy jokes aside, I may have not lived through this era of gaming, but what made it cool was the fact that things were just starting to look less pixely and more smooth, and the emphasis on fun was still there. Did the N64 have terrible games back in the day? Of course it did. No different than some of the slop that comes out today, but at least when developers were making games back then, they knew that if they were doing it just to get a quick cash grab, they'd be criticized the hell for it, and their reputation would literally be tarnished to the point where they can forget about having any ideas of wanting to make more games as a studio. Nowadays, microtransactions, corporate pandering, and broken promises have felt way more abundant, so it's nice to see that there's a niche community out there who felt that the time of the Nintendo 64 and the graphical magic that was brought to their homes can be recreated. Even if not all games I mentioned were superb, they were at least fun or had that charm that I feel is lacking with the AAA industry. Am I saying all AAA games are bad? No, not really. But sometimes it's nice to step into a time machine or put on the nostalgia glasses just for a couple hours just to experience the fun that was those days and reminisce a little about how much has changed since the NES with its side-scrolling pixels and chiptune OSTs. I look forward to whatever the future holds for indie devs who still wish to keep the concept of making 64-bit graphic games. Till then, we'll see what happens. I know I'm excited to see it. Anyways, I jabbed long enough. As always, banda, muchísimas gracias por ver mi video. And until then, pa la próxima.